The Mi'kmaq has been around for a long time, along the Gaspé coast, my family anyway. And we were spread all across the coast, all the way to Listuguj and even further. The Mi'kmaq from the Gaspé coast was Listuguj, Geskabegia, and Gaspeg. And then eventually we were placed in small communities, and my community is Geskabegia. We have a lot of members there. We still have the language there. We have a lot of traditions there. And the language is, the language that we speak, it's the old Mi'kmaq language from the Gaspé coast. So it's really taken care of and well respected. Our elders, their language is a lot deeper than ours. Their pronunciations are more deeper than ours because they were closer to our ancestors. And in my generation, my language, I'm lucky that my mom was a Mi'kmaq school teacher. She taught for 36 years. And she traveled all over, she traveled all over Gaspé, teaching Indian dancing and Indian music, indigenous music, and especially the language and the music. So I grew up in my home not allowed to speak English or in French, and it was just Mi'kmaq, which was fun because now when I look at it today, there's not many my generation that speak it. So I'm really grateful for that. The moon is the spirit of the water. We call her our grandmother. To me, the moon wears a different regalia every night, you know, and every full moon we celebrate and we make our own spirit water. And that spirit water, we take the 7 principles, and we also utilize the 7 generations, which is our great-grandmother, who are in the spirit world, our grandmother, who is also in the spirit world, our mother, myself, my daughter, and then my grandchildren, and then my great-grandchildren that haven't been here yet, haven't crossed into the world yet. So the moon is, we do a lot of ceremonies involving the moon because the moon creates the balance with the sun, and the sun creates the balance with the moon. And they help each other. They have their own medicine wheel, you know, and we learn from it and we honor it. And we drink the medicine from it every day using water and the energy that we put inside it. The moon ceremony we have once a year. A group of women come together and they dance and they fast for 4 days from food, from water, and we sing all day from morning till night or from night till morning, because there's 2 ceremonies. There's the sun dance and then there's the moon dance. I unfortunately haven't gone to the moon dance yet because of the pandemic. It put everything on hold. But to me, because I'm at that stage where I'm a grandmother, I have grandchildren, I've completed the sun dance. I made a 4-year commitment, and I did 5 years, and then I furthered myself to other things, teaching culture, tradition, and spirituality of the land and spirituality of ceremony, the medicine wheel. And it revolves around all the living things around us. The moon helps water. It makes the water even more sacred. We're so connected with the land, and we make things simple. We simplify everything, you know. So, yeah, it's really deep. It's a really deep connection for us. And once we wake it up, we take it, embrace it, we process it, allow it to go through our whole body, because our body carries the medicine wheel. Mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional, you know, and then we process it. And then it becomes a teaching. First it's a lesson, process, then becomes a teaching. And your teaching could be either the ways of you choose to live, or the way you sing, or the way you paint, or the way you take photographs, or the way you write. And that's how we do it. It simplifies, and it goes and gives out as a teaching. Moon time is it's like when a woman is on her cycle. A woman is on her cycle once a month, just like the full moon is once a month, and we honor that. And it's a moment of a woman cleansing, because we're life givers. We're life givers. We teach our children. We stand next to our partners. We guide them, and they guide us. We guide the children and teach the ways of our life, our medicine wheel, the stages of life. You start in the middle as a spirit. You work your way to the top at the east direction, which is spring, a new beginning, regrowth. You know, like life is a regrowth. Human is a regrowth. You know, so we all have something in common, and women carry the water in their womb, and we're surrounded by that. You know, human. We all have something in common with that. And then when the life is born, we all take our first breath. And then after we take that first breath, we give out our first song, which is our cry, saying, "Hello world, I'm here." You know, so it's that song of cry from a baby that we all have in common. You know, that first breath that we all take, we all have in common. You know, and the moon and the sun and all the elements around it helps us make that connection. The Moon Lodge is when we're doing ceremony, for instance, the sun dance, and a woman's on her cycle, and she's cleansing. She doesn't need to go in the sweat lodge because she's already cleansing. So when they're doing ceremony and the woman's in her cycle, she goes to the moon lodge, and the sun dancers are here performing their part, performing their prayers and their ceremony individually, but also together in the medicine wheel. And then there's the women. The women are so strong. When you are in a cycle of cleansing, we become like magnets. You could go down the street, a woman could go in a group of people and walk through and not even touch them, and you can grab a big part of their energy from them without even knowing, because the cleansing process is so strong, you know? And so your emotions, sometimes they call it like, I don't know the words, I haven't used them in a long time, so I forgot. PMS. PMSing. We don't call PMS, you know, when a woman's all frustrated and angry. She's overwhelmed and she's cleansing. So once that woman makes that connection, and as she's cleansing, it makes things a lot easier for them to cleanse. So they put us in the Moon Lodge, and the energy that we have is so strong that we're helping the dancers complete their ceremony, and we're actually doing our own interpretation. My last dance at the Sundance, I ended up at the Moon Lodge by myself, and it was an amazing experience. And because I've been singing for the Sundance for 16 years, I sang for the dancers. I knew what they were doing. So in my head, I knew what steps were going on. I knew where I was. And I actually had an experience. And once that experience was done, I came back Because they say that when you're doing ceremony, you're in a human life and also in a spirit life, you know, you're in both. And to me, it was an amazing experience. And the round that they do at that time, when I had my experience, it usually lasts like 2.5 hours. But when I closed my eyes, and I can hear everybody cheering and singing and you know, just la, 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 the women, la, 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 you know, and that's a form of cheering the people, the men. I can hear all of that. And once it was over, I felt my whole body just going. And then I opened my eyes, and my friend Joni, she was right there. And I was like, wow, that was a fast round. I said, how long was it? 10 minutes? And she looks at me and she said, no, it was 2.5 hours. I was like, get out. I've learned how to do this ceremony by a lot of elders that I've met along the way. I've been singing and traveling since 1998 when I first came out and started singing, and nobody knew I could sing. And it allowed me to meet so many different people, and my way of learning, because I struggle with education. It wasn't provided for us, and we were in the educational system, but the education wasn't provided for us. So now, when I read and write in English, I had to memorize the words. I don't understand the concept of writing and reading, so everything that I've learned and all the people that I've met along my way to this point, I've taken it and utilized it and made it into my ceremony. And to me, it's a human ceremony, the people's ceremony, you know, because a lot of people forget. Society is so today, you know, we're so distracted. We forget where the sun is. We forget to look up at the moon and say, ooh, there's the moon. Wow, she's beautiful tonight. Oh, look at the regalia she's wearing. And it's only like this, you know? And then the next night you look at it and it's thicker, and then she's wearing a whole different regalia. So when I do ceremonies like this, I give it all of what I know, and I allow my heart to speak for me, because my heart has all the words that needs to be said. You know, so I take that with great respect, with the 7 generations and with the 7 principles. You know, the 7 Migamat principles, which is respect, love, courage, strength, and all the animals that come with it. You know, so it's a lot of teaching, but a person like me, it just sticks right there, just like a person knowing how to read and write.